We all remember the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, where supporters of deposed President Trump, many of them white supremacists, used extreme force and violence to try to overthrow the American government. But did you know that 123 years ago, beginning on this date, another group of whites overran and took over the government of an American city? In its aftermath, whites called it the Wilmington, North Carolina insurrection. Most black progressives called it the Wilmington Massacre. The insurrection was the result of a group of North Carolina white Southern Democrats leading a mob of 2,000 to overthrow the government of the city of Wilmington. They forced out opposition black and white political leaders, destroyed property and businesses of black citizens that had been built up during the Civil War, and ruined the city's only black-owned newspaper. By the time it was over, 300 blacks had been killed. Ironically, before the Civil War, Wilmington was a majority black city. But after that war, more and more whites came in and finally decided to take over. A year before the rioting, 9 prominent Wilmington men started a campaign against what they called Negro rule of the city. They were convinced that under white rule, big business would flourish, and them with it. The real spark that started the violence was an editorial in the black newspaper that tactfully talked about ongoing relations between white women and black men. White leaders were incensed that any of their women would dare to cavort with blacks. The implications were obvious. You need only watch To Kill a Mockingbird. In a few hours, a local leader led a mob and marched on the newspaper, burning it to the ground, then turned on city government. For years, the local press blamed blacks for the rioting, but many papers in other cities printed the truth. Wilmington was never the same after the riots. I'm Dennis Daly.